So, hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Delighted to be on this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome very much. And I'd like to welcome you to our podcast as well, the Social Media Marvels.
Thank you.
And so, could you tell us and our viewers a little bit about yourself? What are you doing with digital marketing and social media?
Sure. So I'm very much focused on social media and on the training aspect of that. So I don't do any social media management or anything like that, purely training. So in the sense of running workshops, which is mainly going into clients and showing them how to make the best use of social media, or perhaps sitting down next to a client, helping them set up a Facebook ad campaign as an example. And I work with a few training organizations, so run sort of classroom style workshops through them as well. But in summary, I'm a social media trainer and I've been around for a while. And so this is actually my 10th year now.
Oh, that's great. So, like you said, you don't deal with social media management per se, but you're a social media trainer.
Yeah,
So,
so I think the difference there is the fact that I'm all about putting people in the right place so that they can do the social media themselves, and I think that's preferable. I think that's the best solution. I think social media management has its place for certain businesses under certain circumstances, but as you would probably expect me to say, being a trainer, I think really it's best if the business or the social media or really probably the marketing department does it themselves rather than outsource that function.
that's nice. So, as a social media trainer, you said you basically find the right people. So, or do you train the right people?
Yeah, a bit of both. I get business mainly through referrals, and I like to practice what I preach. So quite a few clients come in via social media. And in terms of providing the right training, it's really a question of discovering what their business objectives are, and then helping them achieve those using social media. So it could be anything from, typically it's going to be increasing sales, but perhaps it might be for recruitment, perhaps it might be for improving customer service. So obviously, as you're well aware, increasingly social media is being used throughout an organization, and there's a lot of functions that it can help now. It can provide advantages in terms of efficiency, effectiveness, and achieving their departmental business objectives.
That's great. So, like you said, in terms of social media, you mentioned the Facebook ad campaign, setting up an ad campaign. So, Facebook and Instagram are currently the biggest players that attract audiences or that attract potential customers. But according
Yes.
to you, which are some of the underdog platforms among the social media game?
Yeah, okay. So I sort of specialize in the top five, and the as in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. So Pinterest would be the smallest of those. And I think that's definitely got its place if you are particularly interested in receiving web traffic, because it's quite a straightforward strategy to post images and photos, videos relating to your business, infographics, that sort of thing onto Pinterest. And it only takes a couple of clicks to have people back to your website. And it's a fairly low maintenance platform. So I think in terms of that effort to reward ratio, it works out quite well. So I would, even though it's the smallest one, I wouldn't ignore Pinterest by all means. So if you're, like I say, if it's web traffic, so it's basically if you're, say, an e-commerce site, you're promoting events on your website or whatever it may be. If your website is important, and for most businesses obviously it is, then Pinterest is definitely worth a look at in terms of helping you drive traffic.
That's great. So, and like you also mentioned earlier, You have a lot of, you help clients with predefined goals in their head. So it could be getting traffic or getting increasing sales or whatever. So have you observed ever that some of the platforms are better paired with a particular goal, or it's not that?
Yeah, that's a tough one because I think it's very much sort of horses for courses when it comes to different clients, different objectives, different business sectors, different audiences. I think probably actually, it's the audience that's the starting point. So where are their audience spending their time? And so that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to end up focusing on, but it is definitely the starting point. But there are other factors as well. So it would really depend on a whole bunch of reasons: the business objective, the audience, what it is that they're actually selling. So are they B2B, are they B2C, all those kind of questions really, and then coming up with the most appropriate platform there. I mean, broadly speaking, again, you always sort of need a starting point, and generally the starting point is going to be Facebook, definitely for B2C, simply because of the number of people on there, number of potential customers on there, and the amount of time that they are spending on there. So it's not Facebook's not really a bad starting point there for whatever the objective might be. Some are probably clearer than others. So if it was like, so I recently did a bit of a recruitment campaign for a particular role that a client in the leisure industry was looking for, and so LinkedIn is kind of like a natural fit there if you're looking for to fill a senior position. Generally on the jobs and recruitment side, LinkedIn would probably be your first port of call. But that said, depending on the vacancy, it might well be Facebook. It depends on what sort of position you're looking to fill.
Yeah. It depends. You said it depends on the audience. That's where a business should start with, ideally, when they want to start a campaign online. So,
Yeah.
but are there some tactics or techniques that you could suggest if somebody doesn't know anything about social media and is just going to place its business for the first time ever? So, like you mentioned, Facebook could be the starting point, but some checklist sort of.
Facebook starting point. But I think if people, if they haven't got I mean, they might not think they've got an understanding of their audience, but they probably have. So it's basically just sort of looking at what data that they hold on their customers and trying to learn from that. And at a more practical level, I mean, there are tools available out there. So, for example, Facebook's got a function feature called Audience Insights. So that's pretty handy. You can go on there and you can see not only the makeup and demographics of your Facebook page audience, but also Facebook as a whole, and Facebook in certain countries as well. So that can be pretty useful. So even if let's say you haven't got a Facebook page, you've still got access to that material to learn about your audience. And even if you have got a Facebook page, using that data doesn't necessarily force you into using Facebook to achieve your objective. It might send you off in a different direction once you've established the demographics around your audience. But I think it's just being mindful of your audience is really important. And then because it's them that you're having a conversation with at the end of the day. It's them who are existing and potential audience, or your potential customers. And so it's really about the next step after identifying who they are is trying to figure out what they actually want. What problems can you solve, perhaps? What value can you add to them? And then you start to sort of work towards a content strategy after you figured that out. And to figure that out, again, you've probably got a bit of a sense of it, but I think often the best way there is to actually ask them, run a couple of polls perhaps, or more detail, go into a survey, run a bit of a mini survey and find out. And of course, the other way is to look at your existing content and see how it's worked out. You know, some posts are inevitably going to work better than others. Some tweets are going to inevitably work better than others. So it's perhaps grouping those and seeing which are the most successful and repeating that strategy.
That's great. So from you mentioned something about content and knowing your audience as well. So my next question would naturally flow into how do you strike a balance between your SEO strategy, the social media platform you're using, as well as the part where you understand your audience so that you know what to push out?
Yeah, I think all those definitely have a part to play. SEO, I think, you know, there are lots of technical things that you can do when it comes to SEO in your website, of which I've got a vague understanding, but I'm no expert. But I think over the years there are some things around SEO that just have always held true, but they're valid in terms of content and social media as well. So, for example, updating your content regularly and providing valuable content, you know, specifically in the context of SEO, you'd be talking about keywords. But if you're providing value for your clients on a regular basis, then pretty much naturally, the keywords are going to take care of themselves. You know, I think it's wrong to have to lead with an SEO strategy, because then you're just going to sort of stuff everything with keywords, and it's not, you're putting that first before the value. So really, audience first, what value can you deliver, and then keywords will follow naturally, but best to review just to make sure you are sort of including those keywords there. You know, there's other SEO things as well that have always applied, backlinks and so on. Social media can help to a degree with that, particularly if you're looking at the blogging side of things. But it's just about getting that balance right, I think, between the SEO, the social media, and the content. But if you, back to the point about putting your audience first, I think that's really the key to getting those pieces of the jigsaw to fit the right way. That
is true. And also, I mean, I have been observing this. We were more about sending out a unified message, which is more common, which is applicable to everybody when it came to running like TV ads or newspaper ads. But with social media now, we've started getting more personal. It's become more one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's a very good point. I think that's very hard to achieve. But yeah, personalization is definitely the future when it comes to marketing in general and social media. And we have got Facebook groups, we've got LinkedIn groups, we've got messaging. So, you know, the technology is there to move towards that. But it's quite a big ask for a brand to have individual conversations with its hundreds, possibly thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of customers. But I think it is kind of like moving towards that. And certainly if you're a small business, then this is where you can sort of jump ahead of the bigger players, because you can be niche. So you can produce niche product and service, and you can produce niche focused value added content for a very specific audience, whereas a larger company is going to find that much harder to do, even with all their resources. So it's not all bad news for small companies in this new world, I think, of personalized marketing, if we can call it that. Has anyone used that term yet? Probably. But it's, you know, they've almost got a bit of a
head start.
Head start. That was the word expression I was looking for when it comes to that. So I think it's quite exciting that things are moving in that direction, because ultimately you're more likely to give the recipient of the message what they want than broadcasting. You mentioned TV and newspapers. You know, you can write an absolute cracking article, you can produce a really good TV program, you can create an amazing TV ad, but at the end of the day, it's never going to entertain, inform, everybody, is it? It's only going to hit a percentage. So if you can provide tailored content that totally hits the mark, that can really serve you well in a business sense.
Yeah, so you mentioned that with personalized marketing, the term, maybe if I can say so, you coined or used for right now. So for small businesses, personalized marketing can be one of the strategies or one of the sectors that they can look into to create more hype about themselves or create more brand loyalty, which are some of the other sort of social media hacks or certain strategies which can make them big or make them come on the radar of more audiences.
Yeah, I think what's often missed, despite the fact that for the 10 years since I've been doing social media, well, myself included, all our social media people have kind of talked about the importance of conversation, but it's still a case that businesses are often just sort of pumping content out there, or definitely almost always the case. Even with most businesses now, I'd go as far as saying that they're publishing more than they're posting and publishing more than they're actually listening. And listening is just so important if you're having a conversation. So I think if there's one thing people can do to improve their general best practice use of social media, businesses can do, it's to listen more. So as in, what questions are your existing and potential customers asking? Use tools to go out and find those questions and answer them. Be really helpful. As a general point, go out there, this is time consuming stuff, but it works. Go out there and look for Instagram posts and comment on people's Instagram posts. Be with helpful stuff, not with spammy stuff, but with helpful stuff. Go on to Quora, perhaps not a pure social networking site, but if you're looking to demonstrate thought leadership, raise awareness, then you can go on there and answer a whole bunch of questions. So I think listening is pretty important. And if somebody asks you a direct question or posts something onto your page or tweets you, it's speed of response is also important. So make sure that you do reply. I often come across fairly big brand Facebook pages, and they're taking a day or two to actually reply to people, which is not good. And again, I think that's because it's not meeting customers' expectations. And I think that's another area where small businesses can again be one step ahead, because they can be more responsive in replying and being helpful and answering questions. It's tough, but worth the effort. I think it pays dividends.
It's like so with bigger brands, they seem to be the mammoths, or they like the people who are untouchable. They're too high up the ladder. But with small businesses, they're more accessible. They're more normal. They're more. I mean, you can have a conversation with them and feel not overwhelmed or feel intimidated. So that is something that small businesses can do as well.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's very good. Very good point, Jagriti. I think authenticity there, it's hard for a multinational conglomerate to have a personality, whereas if you're a freelancer, well, you've kind of got a personality, and that's easy as long as you just act as yourself, then that's going to come across. So yeah, there are advantages in that sense too. And I think also in terms of processes and procedures and rules and steps to follow, and whole sort of chains of command, that also makes it quite difficult for larger companies and brands to respond. I won't mention the name of the conference, because it was kind of like an industry thing, but I was quite shocked the sort of there was some stats around about rate of response for fairly large brands in the UK responding to Facebook posts, and I'll tell you that it wasn't actually much over 50%, but all the big brands in the room, they were actually, I had to smile to myself, they were actually very happy with that, which is dreadful. They should only really be happy, in my opinion, if it's 90% sort of plus. So their expectations are a bit different from their customers' expectations in that scenario, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think with digital marketing or creating a social media brand of your company, things are a little bit too slow in terms of where the company puts itself first. It wants to send out or put across a message that it
Yep.
believes in rather than what the customers want to believe their images. While like when it comes to selling products, they're very good at listening and they apply the feedback very well. But when it comes to social media marketing, things are a little bit, they need to be tweaked.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So more, I mean, it's I like sort of simple ideas, simple concepts, and if you talk about more push, if you talk about push and pull, then it's less push and more pull, basically.
Yeah.
Less talking and more listening would perhaps be a better way of putting it. But
Yeah, true. So, do you have any future predictions about how social media and how social media strategies could change for small businesses that our viewers should also be aware of with so many changes coming up?
yeah, I think on, no sort of initially, no sort of dramatic revelations from me on this one or predictions, because I just think that video photography and quality of those two will continue to move forward. And I think stories are going to continue to be a big thing and become more popular. Probably see less of the news feed and more to a sort of stories kind of left to right sort of format. So I can see sort of that happening. And that is something, small businesses and solopreneurs can tell stories quite easily. So I think that's going to be good for that sort of business sector. And big brands have got the budgets to do some sort of clever creative stuff in those sort of formats as well. So there's sort of something for everybody there. I think perhaps more wild predictions perhaps would be around sort of sound stuff, so as in sort of voice assistant kind of thing. So we're seeing Alexa and Google Home and Samsung are about to launch a device, and all these are quite popular, but there hasn't really been a crossover to marketing and social media with those yet. But I think we're going to see that. I'm not quite sure what sort of shape or form that will take, but perhaps we could be asking, and I think you can probably actually set this up. We'll be asking Google Home and Alexa to read our tweets and stuff like that. I did, for a bit of fun, set up Google Home to tweet for me, but I must to send a tweet for me, but I must admit I don't use it. So I'm not quite sure why that is. Is that a cultural thing or whether it's just not necessary? I don't know. I mean, there's no point of technology for technology's sake, but I think we are going to see more around voice. Perhaps when we start, Google search is so prevalent. So perhaps when we start to, rather than type something into Google, when we're all more accustomed to asking Google for information, perhaps that will be the point where there's a sort of crossover to social media as well. And so who knows, we might be asking Facebook to do something in the fairly near future. And would you like another wild prediction?
Yeah,
I've had this idea for a while. I did actually predict that 2017. I predicted that Facebook would come out with hardware. I did kind of nail that one because they've come out with that Portal device since then. So they weren't actually producing any hardware. So I got that one right. And this one might sound a bit crazy, but I think they might come out with some sort of venue kind of thing, maybe coffee shops or something like that. Some sort of space where people can do their co-working and do their social media and that kind of thing. So yeah, some sort of venture into property and bricks and mortar. There you go. Facebook will be doing that at some time in future. Let's see.
That's great. I mean, I hope they do, because it's all about, right now the world is getting so much smaller, but people in they cannot collaborate that well because of distance or time. And I just want that there could be some place where which could be has a physical spot as well and should be online as well. So that, because sometimes you need both. You can't just work online.
Exactly. I think it's the perfect sort of match because they're getting into Facebook groups, as I mentioned earlier. And so just as you say, it's kind of like it would be great to have basically an offline equivalent, a bricks and mortar equivalent of a Facebook group, wouldn't it? Get a whole bunch of, whatever it is you're into, yoga, golf, whatever, football, then, you could meet your other group members perhaps at a Facebook coffee shop. There you go. We'll see.
True. Well, yeah, actually I did try it a couple of years ago where, so I was traveling to a new place and I was alone, and I just asked on my Facebook feed if there's somebody who's around that area and wants to catch up for coffee. So Facebook did bring me closer to some new friends and help me make new friends. But let's see if we can have a physical place as well for that. No, that's a nice story. Just a very quick similar one too. I met a girl in a similar way, just putting out a tweet saying anybody around for coffee in the early days of Twitter when I was living in Cheltenham, and when I've been out to Los Angeles, we've met up out there, and we're still good friends today. So yeah, it's amazing what social relationships you can form over social media. Yeah, true. From pen pals to tweet pals.
That's it.
Yeah. So thank you very much for all your wonderful insights on social media. Would you like to tell us something about the events or the podcasts you'll be attending shortly, or you are a part of?
Yeah, sure. So you can find more about me at pollingersocial.co.uk. Get in touch with me at Pollinger Social on social media. And I do something called the Social Media Show, which is live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Pollinger Social, every Monday at 9 a.m. UK time. And that's also goes out at a podcast on Mondays on your favorite podcasting platform, as they say.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So thank you so much once again. And I hope you had fun on this, being a part of this podcast as well.
Brilliant. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.